Now, Lord McAlpine has already accepted a payout of £185,000.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at British stars and TV shows caught up in legal trouble.
So it's not as though I just hate Top Gear or anything.
BBC News.
A small convoy of unmarked police cars arrived mid-morning and...
The BBC's journalism arm has gotten into legal hot water many times, but few incidents have been as high profile as when the Beeb got sued by Cliff Richard. In 2014, police raided Richard's house, and the BBC was on hand to broadcast it live from a helicopter, which led to allegations of a privacy violation.
From the air, though, the cars could be seen as they parked and as the police team made its way towards the empty apartment owned by Sir Cliff Richard.
Apparently, the BBC was anticipating that Richard was going to get arrested under the Operation U-Tree investigations, but no evidence of criminal activity was found.
The investigation is linked to an alleged incident that took place in the county back in the 1980s.
Richard sued for damages and won, and then had a second ruling decide that the BBC was going to have to pay his legal costs too. He got around £2 million back from the broadcaster after clearing his name.
It was incredibly emotional for me to think that after 3 years, 11 months and 4 days, it's really finally over.
Emmerdale.
What's happened to him? He's weird.
Hey, stop it, you two.
Stars get axed from soaps for all kinds of reasons, but Christopher Smith, the second actor to play series staple Robert Sugden, didn't think he should have been dropped. Show bosses apparently thought that as Robert was growing up, they needed to switch to a different actor who could handle more complex, mature storylines, apparently not giving Smith a chance to prove that he could do it.
What do you have to do? All works from the handset, does it?
The idea is to kill your opponent. Here, you can have my controller pad.
He went on to sue Yorkshire Television for unfair dismissal. It's not clear how this court case went, but Smith eventually left the country entirely. All we know is that he seems to be living in the US and working as a television producer, spending time behind the camera now rather than in front.
What do you say then, Rob? Best out of three?
Robert. Okay.
Britbox.
Are you ready to binge on British?
Not a TV show, but an entire streaming platform this time. In 2023, Britbox found itself in hot water and got sued by Dish Network, an American satellite TV company. Since 2015, Dish has been operating the Sling TV streaming service and alleged that the BBC and ITV, via Britbox, were committing patent infringement.
Welcome to the great big box of British box sets.
Considering Britbox is largely designed for countries other than the UK, since most of the content on there is readily available here on BBC iPlayer and ITVX, this could have been a big deal.
This is Britbox.
Yo, how you doing?
The lawsuit seems to have gone nowhere though, and Dish is a notoriously litigious company, even trying to sue Peloton, all to try and force companies to pay them licenses to use patented streaming technology.
Yeah, funny.
Very funny.
Bellissimo.
So you think you can dance and American Idol.
Well, Paula Abdul has accused an American Idol producer of sexually assaulting her when she was a host on the competition show.
These shows are both American, but they have one thing in common. British TV judge Nigel Lythgoe, who made the move to the States to work on American Idol after Pop Idol's demise to make way for the X Factor.
And the man she's accusing is Nigel Lythgoe. He was a producer on that show.
In 2023, news broke that Paula Abdul was suing Lythgoe for sexual assault while they were both working on these shows, with multiple incidents alleged. There was eventually a settlement, but his legal troubles didn't end there.
It alleges Lythgoe groped Abdul in a hotel elevator after a day of filming.
In 2024, there were more allegations, with another lawsuit emerging that March. Unlike Paula Abdul, the women who filed those lawsuits have remained anonymous, and the cases are ongoing. Lythgoe has stepped down from hosting So You Think You Can Dance amidst all this. Glow Up, Britain's next makeup star.
Technical ability is what I'm looking for. Can you tell that that person's wearing a prosthetic?
Do you watch Glow Up, Britain's next makeup star? Probably not, since it's a relatively small and niche show over on BBC Three. It's so niche, in fact, that one singer, Bossy, decided to take the BBC to court for stealing her idea for a makeup reality show, as amateur beauty gurus compete for the chance to become a professional makeup artist.
I'm gutted for the girls because I do think you can tell that they just look like stuck on bits of silicone.
Yeah, they're going to be in trouble.
So how much money did she want from the BBC for allegedly stealing her idea? A whopping £10 million. She was trying to claim that she'd pitched the idea under the exact same name and then had it stolen, saying that the BBC had made the show without her consent. The BBC, however, says that there's no evidence it ever heard her pitch.
If that had happened on a professional shoot, there could have been some major consequences with that.
The completely made-up adventures of Dick Turpin.
Have you got a couple of minutes to just answer some questions?
Well, you've got me tied up, so I guess.
Noel Fielding's Apple TV comedy about legendary highwayman Dick Turpin was well received with a solid cast. So why did it get cancelled after one series?
Is there anything that I could have done better my end to improve your highway robbery experience?
For once, this wasn't a case of a streaming giant not knowing what it had. Apple greenlit Series 2 and put it into production, only for it to get the chop when Noel Fielding just didn't turn up for work. Despite being a co-writer and executive producer, Fielding has said that he was too ill to resume production, but none of the crew were informed, and they were already midway through the process. The crew is now considering a class action lawsuit.
Okay, what about beer? Ice cold beer? Slide into a booth, shoot the breeze, keep those beers coming. I mean, not all night, I've got stuff to do in the morning.
Country File.
Let's get some more now on the age discrimination case brought by the former presenter of the BBC's Country File programme, Miriam O'Reilly.
In 2009, the BBC sacked 4 female presenters from Country File, prompting one of them, veteran broadcaster Miriam O'Reilly, to sue the corporation for ageism. It took over a year of legal back and forth and an employment tribunal, but eventually O'Reilly won, with the tribunal agreeing with her that she was sacked because of age discrimination.
It was hard to take on the BBC because I love the BBC, I loved working there.
Unfortunately, this made O'Reilly persona non grata for British TV production, despite having a storied career working on rural affairs programmes. She has from time to time reappeared, but it seems that winning the lawsuit had sad consequences for her.
I felt that I was treated badly because of my age, and standing up to the BBC was the right thing to do, however hurtful, however stressful it has been.
Britain's Got Talent.
The comedian is seeking significant damages from production company Fremantle following their decision to drop him from the ITV show in November last year.
This lawsuit isn't against Britain's Got Talent itself, but rather its production company, Fremantle. In 2022, David Walliams was dropped from the show after a recording of him being extremely rude and offensive about a contestant was leaked.
In one instance, he called an elderly performer the C word 3 times.
He's now trying to take Fremantle to court for £10 million, claiming privacy violations and a data breach over the leaked recording. He's also said that he's, quote, lost the ability to be funny because of the stress of losing his job on BGT, now living in fear that anything else highly offensive he says might be recorded.
So the thing is, it was obviously leaked by a sound man, a producer, a showrunner. Why did they do that? Why didn't they do it in private?
There's no news yet on whether the case has been successful or not. Newsnight.
Of course they should have called me, and I would have told them exactly what they learnt later on.
And what was that?
That it was complete rubbish.
In late 2012, it was all hands on deck at the BBC to try and come out from the other side of the Jimmy Savile scandal, which led to the broadcaster naming and shaming other people accused of sex crimes, whether they had hard evidence or not. One of the people caught in the crossfire was Lord McAlpine, with a Newsnight episode repeating allegations made against a prominent Conservative.
You'd heard these allegations many years ago at the time of the Waterhouse inquiry.
Oh yes, yeah, and it had been all gone over.
Viewers guessed that they were talking about McAlpine, which led to him trending on Twitter, which then led to John Bercow's wife Sally posting about it. McAlpine sued her for libel and won. The BBC and ITV both paid damages to McAlpine before legal action was taken, and he donated the money to charity.
You're seeking a lot more than the $185,000 you got from the BBC. You're seeking a lot more than that from ITV.
Well, we think they should be paying
A little bit more than that, yes.
Top Gear.
It's called the Tesla. It's made in California. It's based on the Lotus Elise.
Always a magnet for controversy, Top Gear was involved in many scandals during its run. But we're going to talk about one in particular, the time the show was sued by Elon Musk. After seeing a critical segment about the Tesla Roadster, Musk was apparently so enraged that he sued the BBC for libel through Tesla itself.
An earlier Tesla received a very rough ride from the BBC's Top Gear programme.
Well, I wouldn't paint all of BBC with Top Gear's brush.
Eventually, Tesla lost in the High Court, with judges saying that nobody with half a brain would think that Top Gear was trying to do anything other than entertain its viewers, and the company ended up having to pay the BBC's legal fees. The show never forgot, poking fun at the incident in later episodes, with Clarkson himself also mocking Musk in 2025 after Cybertrucks were vandalised.
Although Tesla say it'll do 200 miles, we worked out that on our track it would run out after just 55 miles. And if it does run out, it's not a quick job to charge it up again.
Let us know in the comments which huge lawsuits we forgot about.
The first electric car that you might actually want to buy. It's just a shame that in the real world, it doesn't seem to work.